Hey there. So I got my T-cycle clamp and I'm gonna put that on the ice trike. But as you can see, I'm working on the chicken hutch over there. I was gonna wash the house today so I can continue with that project, but as you can see, it's very windy. And so I'm not gonna get up there and do all that on the ladder and all that. Okay, I'm out of the shop again. I've got my T-cycle mount, 1.75 inch mount. That's gonna go around, it's gonna go around this tube right here. And then I've got a pulley that I've got from the old bike that I'm gonna put on there to hold this down, is the idea. So then I can lean the seat back more. The chain won't rub on this bar here for the seat. So then I can recline the seat more. Because one thing I got used to on my 700 was the recline. And the ice trike doesn't have quite the same recline. And the reason is because the chain hits that bar underneath the seat. So I'm gonna put this pulley in there and this idler, and hopefully that will lower the chain down enough that it should give me enough clearance to allow the seat to recline that much more. All right, so I'm gonna put this all together. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I discovered a problem right off the bat. This idler clamp is not the right size. And I had asked the guys at T-cycle before they sent it what the right size was. And this is obviously not the right size. You see that huge gap in there? They said it was a 1.75 and it is not. So this is not going to work today. Bummer. So it's supposed to storm starting tonight into tomorrow. I've been really busy doing other things, but I've been really busy doing anything but riding. One of the main things I've been doing is painting that building behind me. Not the inside, the outside. And as you can see, it's taken me a while. It actually took me about 2 days to paint most of it. Now I've got to go through and do all the touch up and the cleanup and, you know, get to the places I missed. So once I get all that done, so I have to get started on the yard now, because when you rent a boom lift so you can get up to the very top of your house to paint it, a really heavy boom lift in a really soft yard does some damage to it. Good thing I live in the country, and if I want yard of the month, I just give it to myself. One of the really cool things about the recumbent community, and maybe this happens with other communities as well, but one of the things that seems to me in the recumbent community happens a little bit more is that fun things happen when you just take the time to get to know people, or you just have fun with some people. So if you recall, I got the wrong size idler bracket for my Sprint, because I'm going to add an extra idler to the power side on the back so it doesn't, so the chain doesn't hit the bottom of the seat, so I can actually get more recline out of the seat, which is what I like. And I got my package the other day, and on the back of the envelope, look what it says. I got a little picture, and it says, "Your new clamp," and then it says, "Pandemically yours, T-cycle." Just kind of fun. So I got the new clamp. I'll be installing that on the Sprint pretty soon. The other thing is part of being in the community is people send you stuff. Every once in a while, just something shows up in the mail and you have no idea what it was or what it is. I kind of have an idea of what this is because the person texted me. This comes from the person who bought the Flaming Eyeball version 1, the yellow one I used to have. So I'm gonna open this package up and see what it is I got. So it's called the X-Lite 100 Xfinity. I guess it's supposed to be a super bright light. He said he mounted his on the back of the Velo back here in this area. And so I may add it here or I may add it up here. This is normally where my Fly 6, this is normally where my Fly 6 goes up here, and it's pretty bright light. So maybe I'll add one down here and add to it. He said it's a really bright light and that it seems to work pretty well, so I'll give it a go. Thanks, Bobby. Okay, now I've also got to reset the bike back to my settings because this is the bike that my daughter rode when we did our cap-to-cap ride. So I've got to reset it by adding in more chain and extending the boom back out. Now I know there are people out there who adjust the chain in different ways. I tend to use the method that Trike suggests, and that's put your chain in the biggest cogs on both the front and the back, and then stretch it out to where a derailleur is going to be stretched out, because like this, the derailleur is all the way in, and then of course all the way out will be stretched out like that. And I know that that's where I had mine set up previously, so when I get it to about that position, that should be about where it should be for me. Now I may have to tweak it here a little bit to get it set up because I didn't check the mark. On an ice trike on the boom, there are marks for how far the boom is extended out, and I forgot to look at that mark when I took it in for my daughter to ride it. So alright, so now I'm going to install the seat, and I'm going to see how the difference in the chain line works with the seat angle, because I want to tilt the seat way back and it tends to rub on one of the bars, and I'll show you which bar in a minute where it used to rub. Okay, so it's definitely going to do what I want it to do, and that's move the chain line, but I may not have to move it that much, so I might even be able to adjust this idler a little bit to see to where I can give it as little deflection as possible. But it definitely no longer hits this bar when I'm in the largest gears, because it used to rub on this bar right here. And so now I can recline the seat more, push this down, and I can get more of the recline like I'm used to, because I rode a Trike 700 for so long with a 25-degree recline. I got used to laying really far back when I'm on a trike. So now I'll adjust the seat down and we'll see how it works. That's much better. It's not quite the 25-degree I had on my 700, but it's getting closer, so I'm going to see if I can adjust it down even further. Alright, there we go. Now I think it's pretty much set up again, and the only thing I have left to do now is just go out and test ride it, so I'll do that probably sometime soon. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow would be a good day to do that. Alright, so I have to say this is the first ride with my new idler so the chain wouldn't hit the seat. And I have to say, I've been all the way up in the biggest cog on both sides and it's not rubbing the seat at all, which is really nice. So it allowed me to lean the seat back and get comfortable in the seat, and the chain's not hitting the frame anywhere anymore. It's so quiet. Very nice. I guess you can't see that because duh, I've got the bags in place, so they're hiding it, but you can't see it, but believe me, it's nice. So I've just finished the first ride with the idler, the test ride, which wasn't really a test ride. I just went out and did a 20-mile ride with some guys, and it was a lot of fun, to be fair. And with the idler that I put on, the only thing that I found was a problem was that when I went over large bumps, it jumped off of the idler a couple of times. So I'm going to have to get the T-cycle, the idler, the chain guide that goes on the bottom, and let me show you what that looks like. So this is the T-cycle, the TerraCycle dual idler, and this is the T-cycle, the chain keeper that goes on there. So as you notice, that works to hold the chain from when the chain flops around and things like that. So when it was on this idler and I hit some pretty big bumps, the chain came off, and fortunately it didn't go on this side, but it came off and it actually was sitting up on top of the bolt, and during the ride I had to take it and adjust it back down. So this is quite a long bolt, but I noticed that all of the play that it had in it, like this, allowed it to adjust for the gears changing and going up and down the cassette, so it allowed it to go in and out all the time, and I didn't have any issues with that at all. So the only thing I need to do now is buy me one of these chain guides and put on here, so it'll go down there and hold it, and then it won't hop off of the chain. It won't hop out of the pulley so much. So one other adjustment, one other part to buy, and that should be good to go. So that's it. There you go. You've seen the whole process start to finish. I got the wrong one. I got got the first one in and it was wrong size. Got the second one in, now it's the right size. I've got it in looks to be the right place. I didn't have it rubbing the seat. I've been able to lean the seat back, and it's been great. I really liked the way it worked. The performance was great. So no issues at all with that, as far as I could tell. And so there you go. So thanks for watching, and until next time, cheers.